This ain't your ordinary football show. It's the Old Dominion Football Show with Bruce Rader and Coach Bobby Wilder. Brought to you by Priority Automotive.
5 weeks into the season, who would have imagined the Old Dominion football team would be unbeaten and ranked 4th in the nation? Lofty expectations have given way to spectacular results. But while players spend their bye week in the classroom and the coaches travel the nation recruiting for the future, we ask the question, where are we now? It's time for the Old Dominion Football Show. I'm Bruce Rader along with Coach Bobby Wilder, 5-0 after last week's 8-point win over Richmond. Before we get to that game, Coach, where are we now?
Well, very excited to be 5-0, be number 4 ranked team in the nation. If you look at our offense, we're the number 1 team in the nation in scoring, passing, and total offense. Defensively, there's no question, we're still a work in progress, although I feel like at times we're a very good defense. And then special teams, both our kicker and punter have been outstanding. So I feel like we're in a good spot being 5-0, number 4, and now it's time for the home stretch.
All right, after several months of practice and games, you finally get a break. No game this weekend, so what do the players and coaches do?
Told them all, get the heck out of the office. The players are much needed time, Bruce, number 1, to get healed up. We've got about 15 players that were nicked up on the injury report, so they've been spending a lot of time in the training room. We've stuck to our schedule, Bruce, in terms of their weight training. Done a little more conditioning this week, but no practice, no pads at all this week. I had planned that this week they would have off entirely, and then the coaches, Bruce, are all over the country right now recruiting. We're out there getting ready for that move to Conference USA, so spending a lot of time in the junior colleges out west, as well as all the local high schools. All
right, let's take a look back at that Richmond game. First-year coach Danny Rocco is determined to stop the quarterback, Taylor Heineke. They're dropping, 8, 9 guys back, so you give the ball to your running backs, Agnes Harper and Tyree Lee.
Yeah, that was something, Bruce, that we noticed very early in this game. They were dropping 8, only rushing 3, at times only rushing 2 and dropping 9. So we went right to the run game. And in this game, Bruce, Angus Harper, about 100 yards, Tyree Lee at 70, Colby Goodwin at 50, and then Taylor Heineke is always right around 40 yards. So 230 yards rushing to go along with 360 yards passing. Again, we were right around 600 yards offense, and I was really pleased how well we ran the ball, Bruce.
You have a 28-point lead going into the fourth quarter, and the best quarterback in the nation, Taylor Heineke, makes one of the biggest mistakes of his career.
Yeah, and he was so dejected after that, Bruce. I had to remind him after the game that he played well. Big mistake. It's 3rd and 6 on our own 8-yard line. We're up 45-17, and you don't want the other team to get any momentum at that point. He overshoots Larry Pinkard in the middle. They get the pick 6.
Which could have been a first down.
It could have been a first down. You're right. He was at the first down marker, and that changed momentum. And that's something Taylor's done such a good job of, Bruce. If we can't complete the ball, let's punt it and play defense. That was a huge momentum swing.
All right, but in all fairness to Taylor, that was one mistake, and he did very well overall against the defense that was totally tailored just to stop him.
Yeah, you're right, Bruce. When you watch a game and you think someone's dropping 8, 9 into coverage, your quarterback shouldn't do that well statistically, but Taylor goes 32 for 42, completes 76% of his passes, which any quarterback would take, and for 360 yards and 2 touchdowns. So statistically, he's still at the top in the country with what he's doing right now, Bruce. He had over 400 yards total offense in that game alone with a defense that was designed to stop him. Credit to him and the receivers in that game for still being able to be successful in the pass game.
All right, so now it's up to your defense to protect the lead. And once again, I don't think they lived up to your expectations.
No, they didn't, Bruce, and they didn't live up to their expectations. I walked into a very dejected locker room at the end of that game. I actually had to cheer them up and remind them they just won a game. 2 long drives by Richmond, Bruce, in the fourth quarter, a 95-yard drive and then a 55-yard drive that cut that lead to 45-37. And the thing we were all the most upset with, we had a couple blown coverages in those 2 touchdown drives, just some things we had not been doing for the first 3 quarters. For the first 3 quarters, Bruce, I felt like we shut down the 3rd-ranked offense in our league. We held them to 17 points, and we just didn't complete it in the fourth quarter. So we got to finish the game.
All right, we've talked about the offense. We've talked about the defense. Coach Z and his special teams are having another good year. Good punting, good return game, and the always important kicker, Chris Reckling, spent some time this week with Jared Brown.
It's not easy being a kicker. Just ask ODU kicker Jared Brown. He can go from hero to GOAT with one swing of the leg.
That's what Coach Z always says. Nobody knows who you are until you screw up. So honestly, we take pride in that too, because then if we mess up, then we know everybody's going to know we messed up. A lot of times nobody pays attention to the fact that we make field goals or have good punts, but that's not really our job. Our job's to just do what the team needs us to do.
And Brown has been doing his job this season and doing it well. He's made 5 of 6 field goals, including tying his school record from 51 yards out. He's also a perfect 35 for 35 on extra point attempts.
You know, I better make this because I know I'm capable of making them all. I mean, my farthest 2 so far are 51s, hit 1 last year and this year, and if I can make that, I can make anything shorter than that. So I should make everything. There's nothing really going through my mind other than just make sure this goes in, make sure I do my job after, you know, Rick snaps it and Nate gets it down.
Brown, the Yorktown native, is also getting the job done on kickoffs, where he has forced the other team into 18 touchbacks. It helps that the NCAA has moved the ball up to the 35-yard line.
It helps a lot, though, because I obviously have 18 touchbacks this year. Last year I had 3, I think, all year. Last year I had a torn quad, so it didn't translate very well to kickoffs, but this year I'm healthy, kicking the ball well, 18 touchbacks. I mean, obviously the 35-yard line helps a little bit.
Brown will graduate this spring in sports management and hopes to one day be an athletic director. But with 1 more year left at Old Dominion, he's not ready to hang up his cleats anytime soon.
Obviously my first goal is to try to play the next level, to try to make it to the league. NFL would be nice, but not everybody does that, so I want to be an athletic director.
Reporting for the Old Dominion Football Show, I'm Chris Reckland.
This sounds like an obvious question, but how important is the kicking game to you as far as scholarships and getting the best players?
Oh, it's incredibly important. We're a little different philosophically, Bruce, than a lot of people in that our kicker, Jared Brown's on full scholarship, our punter, Jonathan Plisco, is on full scholarship, and our long snapper, Rick Lovato's on full scholarship, and most coaches at the FCS will not do that. Jared Brown's having a tremendous year. Those 18 touchbacks, Bruce, the next closest guy in our league has 9. So he has twice as many. That goes to show you how well he's kicking the ball. Very important part of our game.
All right, thanks, Coach. Still to come, senior defensive end Alex Arain from Virginia Beach dares to enter the 1-minute drill with Ali Lucia. Plus, Coach Wilder answers your questions in the weekly Coach's Corner segment. That's next on the Old Dominion Football Show, brought to you by Priority Automotive. ODU. Coach, defensive end Alex Arain has had a few too many personal fouls this year, so to try and straighten him out, we sent him into the 1-minute drill.
Alex, first question, you've never done the 1-minute drill, but trying to figure out who has longer hair, you or me. I want to know what's the secret to making your hair look so good.
I think I might got you beat. Pantene shampoo does good for me.
Do you get that on sale or do you pay full price for it?
Full price.
So have you always had the long locks, or is this a new thing since you've gotten to school?
Yeah, it's a new thing. I've been growing out like 2.5 years ago. So.
Haven't cut it since?
No cut.
Are you going to?
Don't plan on it.
No locks of love or any? No locks?
Oh, I'll do, yeah. Once I do cut it, I'll donate it.
Or are you a beach guy or a pool guy?
Beach guy.
And North End, tourist area, Chicks Beach, what are we talking here?
The upper streets, yeah.
Do you surf? Do you?
Surf, beach volleyball, boogie board, all that.
Anything that people don't know about you that you want to tell Monarch fans?
I'm scared of snakes.
Snakes on a plane? What?
Snakes on the plane. Any snakes. No matter if snakes here on the plane, I don't care. I'm scared of a snake.
All right, still to come, we dig into the mailbag as Coach Wilder answers your questions. It's the Coach's Corner next on the Old Dominion Football Show. Coach, next year you move up and play on an independent level, on the tougher FBS level, where you're going to be facing players that are bigger and stronger.
Right.
The competition overall is tougher. What marching orders did you give your assistant coaches as they hit the recruiting trail this week?
Well, the number one thing, Bruce, we're always looking to do is to find good people, good students, and good football players. That's part of our aim high philosophy. That's a priority for the Old Dominion program, but we need to find bigger, faster, stronger players as well. And what's really helped us, Bruce, is now with that Conference USA being out there, with the fact we were on national news with what Taylor Heineke accomplished. We've got recruits all over the country that know about Old Dominion football.
All right, it's time to turn it over to the fans. It is time now for the Coach's Corner. And Coach, our first question is from Steve in Virginia Beach. Coach, are you using the national publicity from Taylor Heineke's record-setting game as a recruiting tool?
Yeah, great question. We are definitely using that in recruiting right now. We've got coaches in California, in Kansas, in Texas, in Iowa that are out recruiting junior college players, as well as right here in Virginia and on the East Coast. And it seems everybody knows about that accomplishment by Taylor Heineke. The win over New Hampshire and what it has done for us in recruiting is immeasurable right now. Thanks for the question.
Now, Don in Norfolk asks, when Foreman Field gets expanded, I guess he's assuming it will, how big will it be and how big is too big? There's nothing worse than seeing a 60,000-seat stadium that's half full, even though 30,000 people is a lot of people.
Yeah, right now our administration is looking into what the number would be. They're doing studies. We're hiring some companies right now to help us with that expansion plan. And what we know for certain right now, we have 20,000 per game. We have a waiting list that has grown up over 4,500 people requesting 13,500 tickets. So as of today, we could put 33,500 people in our stadium based on that list. So I'm sure expansion's coming, and we'll put together a good plan. Thanks for the question.
You're going to need a lot more seats for that East Carolina game when it eventually comes here. And finally, Carl in Norfolk asks, what's the deal with instant replay and FCS? I've seen some games on TV that have it and some that don't.
Yeah, great question. The CAA, by rule, does not use instant replay. Some of the teams you may see, for example, MEAC teams that play on ESPNU during the week, they do allow for replay. The NCAA in the FCS playoffs will use replay from the quarterfinals all the way through the national championship. Good question.
By the way, we want to hear from you. Send your questions to Coach Wilder via email at
Great questions, Bruce. Great
at
questions.
wavy.com. The fancy, they're very well
Very intelligent.
We educate them every week. No priorities of the game since you've got a week off, Coach. So what about your priorities of the bye week?
Oh, number one priority this week was get away from football for the week. I wanted the players and the coaches to get out of the office. The players focus even more so on academics and getting healed up. And then the coaches we had to recruit. Number two for our players was to focus even more than they already do on school. We put extra time in for tutorial study sessions this week with not having any practice at all. And number three, get as healthy as we can. We had 15 guys that were banged up. It's been a great week, Bruce, to get guys healed up.
Well, it's the bye week. No game, but a week from tomorrow, Villanova comes to SB Ballard Stadium for a 3:30 start. So rest up this week and join us again next Friday night and every Friday night at 10:45 for the Old Dominion Football Show. Hey, have a great weekend, everybody.
Thank you, 12th Monarchs. You're awesome.